girl. I ain't typical, I ain't cheerleading while the boys play ball. I ain't no typical girl. No. I wanna be right there in the middle of it all.
And welcome back to another episode of the Music Cafe. Thank you so much for joining us this evening or afternoon, wherever you are. Again, I said every time, I have no idea how time zones work, but thank you so much for joining us. What an exciting show tonight. I've got a bit of a mix of everything. We got some legal, we got some new music, we got some really fun topics to talk about. In South Africa, we are currently in level 1. We were at level 5. We're now at level 1. I think the States, they've done it the other way around. So we've got new restrictions, new laws, new rules when it comes to performing live and getting home at a certain time. And this whole thing with Facebook and streaming live. So we got some stuff to talk about, guys. Some stuff to talk about. But before we get into the show, let me first chat to you guys about how this all works. If you are a regular, thank you so much for coming back. Thank you so much for joining in and being part of the family here. And if you're new, welcome. There are a few rules. First simple rule, pick up your laptop or your phone, your iPad, however you're watching this. Go to the kitchen, make yourself a cup of tea and get a piece of cake. I had my cake before we went live. Yeah. And then find somewhere comfy to sit down and sit back and enjoy just chatting with us. There is a live comment. We got our first live comment. Hi, fame. Hello, everyone. Yeah, we've got live comments. So if you got some questions, if you have some comments, if you, I don't know, have some opinions, would like to say hello, a shout out, whatever it is, pop them there. They're going to come across on the screen. And for our particular guests, if you have a question for them, you're welcome to ask them anything. We've got some really, really cool people on today. Hi, Stu. I know you're one of our regulars. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining us. But I am so excited for tonight. Let me bring up our very special guest. First up, I've got someone who I've known for a little while now, and he actually has got his company's name over here, fame.org.za. And I always mention them because I love who they are and what they do and what they stand for. And we met via a mutual friend, and I love to have him on the show just so we can chat about things in the music industry. And his name is Christian Steyn. Hello, Christian. How are you?
Good, and you?
Yay, good, thank you. Thank you so much for hopping on tonight. I'm so excited.
No, as always, thanks for having me.
Awesome, yay. Well, next I'm going to bring up somebody who I've been a big fan of for a minute. I not only love his personality and who he is, but I also love his writing style, his voice, his skill level is incredible. He's one of the coolest people on the block. And honestly, when I say that we will talk till 2 a.m., it is true. We can talk till 2 a.m. His name is Matthew O'Connell. Hello, Chucky!
Yo, what a beautiful intro. That's so nice. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well deserved. I mean, yeah, it's you. So yeah. Thank you so much for hopping on tonight. I really do appreciate you coming on.
Yeah. Thank you for having me as always.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Well, our last guest is someone who, it's so weird. We went to school together. She has always been part of my life, and we've just always sort of been, connecting in weird ways. And suddenly we were reconnected, and she has always loved the entertainment music industry. She's grown up in the entertainment industry, and she is now becoming a lawyer, which is quite cool. And her name is Loren Smith. Hello, Loren.
Hey.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. And yourself?
Amazing. I'm so good. It's so good to see you. Everyone, we were chatting backstage, and we're just having good fat catch up. It's amazing. It's like we do just follow each other's careers, and I'm proud of I'm so proud of where you are right now. It's just so cool to be seeing your face again. So I'm so happy you're here tonight. Yay.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. So guys, tonight we've got quite a broad conversation, and I know that it's just going to be a lot of just hopping in. So I know, Chucky's, you've also been in this industry for a minute. You kind of know what you're doing.
A little bit.
So, I mean, I know I'm sure that when it comes to everything else that we're going to be chatting about, and vice versa, I mean, Christian, you've literally been a muso in the industry as well. So there is quite a bit to talk about, which is quite exciting. But before we hop into that, I think let's go around the room. Christian, you know the drill. And let's, Christian, would you like to give everyone a hashtag Tinder bio version of who you are?
Tinder bio.
Okay, well, I'm Christian Steyn. I'm the founder of the nonprofit fame.org.za, which is the Foundation for the Advancement of Musicians Empowerment, Fame. As well as the director at Steyn IP, which is an intellectual property law firm. So, and I used to be a musician, so I'm not all about legal. I'm a bit about entertainment as well.
Yes, but you started Fame because you saw a gap where musos were perhaps being taken advantage of, or perhaps weren't clued up enough, or didn't know who to ask and couldn't
Yes.
afford legal advice. So I mean, it's amazing, and I know we've spoken about it before, but I always love to refresh people's memories when it comes to how you started, why you started Fame. So there's a good fat story there as well, which I love. I love stories.
Yeah.
So
I'll do a shortened version of it.
Oh, that's fine. You can do the long version. We'll be here till 2 a.m. That's okay.
You know, I've been a musician and just got bad horror stories like most musicians, I think, in South Africa would have somewhere. And then realized that you as a musician can't always afford the legal support you need to take on big companies.
Yeah,
because they just out litigate you. And having an IP background and being an attorney myself, I just decided, you know what, enough of my friends in the music industry has gone through this. Why don't I just offer legal services to musicians for free? And that's the story.
it's so
we
cool.
offer legal support
super
to
cool.
musicians for free. That's in essence what it is.
Yeah. No, just absolutely amazing. And I have like just benefited from just chatting to you. And I love that I can literally just call you up and be like, there's this problem. And I send you voice notes that are 5 minutes long just so I can get my emotions out. I just want you to know how I feel right now. And I just love the advice that you give me. And it's always sound. So anyone else that's out there that needs legal advice or anything, advice in general, go to fame.org.za. But we will also be answering questions tonight. So anyone, you're welcome to pop into the live comments. But let's move on around the room. So I'm gonna hop to Matthew. So Chuckies, will you give everyone your hashtag Tinder bio version of who you are?
Tinder bio. Well, I mean, on the first date, this is what.
Oh God.
No, okay. So my name is Matthew O'Connell. Some of the people know me as Chalky Chocks. I'm a singer-songwriter, a multi-instrumentalist. I used to be part of the band called Good Luck for like 5 years, where I played the saxophone, keys, and sang. And now I am chasing my solo career, which has been very, very exciting. I think that's about it. I'm a singer and an artist, basically. That's pretty much it.
So cool. And you've just released your single, which honestly is just fire. And I can't wait to chat about it. I'm sorry.
Play on words there.
It's not going to get old. I told you before, I love puns. I don't care if you think it's weird or if you get bored of me. Puns will never get old. So I'm going to be saying that the song is fire because the song's name is Fire. And go and download it because it's amazing. It really is so cool. And the music video, out of this world. Oh my gosh.
Well, I mean, it's only been shot it was one person that shot it.
I saw. I literally died, came back to life and died again. Like, I loved it. It was amazing.
Literally the day before, I was like, let's go scouting for the destinations. Scouted.
Nice.
I just shot it on my iPhone and we shot the music video the next day.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. Okay, well, I don't want to get too much into it right now because I really don't want to talk about it. I love the creative process, and as artists, I think that sometimes people just like focusing on the music and all being about the music, man, whatever. And it's not about that. It's about putting everything into this artwork, into the story. And I just can't wait to dissect it a bit with you. So I just want to chat about that. And the backgrounds and the scenery was just beautiful. So. Like,
that's amazing.
There's my balloon, and I do want to chat about that.
that a good enough Tinder bio?
Yeah, I think so. Loren, what did you think? Was it a good enough Tinder bio?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. Well, Lauren, it's your turn. Your hashtag Tinder bio version of who you are.
Okay. Well, I grew up in the film industry. That's kind of where my background started with the entertainment industry. My parents were very much involved in it. I pretty much grew up on film sets ever since I could walk. I've been in studios ever since I could remember. I've done acting in terms of being an extra, um, which was fun. Got to play with wolves.
So
But
cool.
yeah, my my music background basically started when I went to go and study to be a sound engineer. And through that, I met a lot of influential people. I made a lot of good contacts, and I saw how artists were struggling in the industry in terms of like knowledge, kind of getting their foot in the door in the right places. And so I ended up working for a lawyer as a music consultant, and in my own capacity started offering free advice, free legal advice, even to artists who needed it. And so then I became a paralegal, and now I literally speak to artists and pretty much do what Christian does in a much similar fashion. I offer like free sort of Zoom calls where you can ask me anything and anything you really want to, and I will happily answer it. And I also again saw that need where artists need that helping hand, and yeah, I love helping people. I love my gratification comes from seeing the artists
Mm.
grow in the industry and become successful. So then I
Yeah.
started my paralegal company where I assist artists, lawyers, individuals, and businesses with their legal matters. But on a side note, I help artists, on a more free basis because I know that legal fees can get a little bit expensive or that kind of thing. And yeah, that's pretty much what I do, and I just love helping people.
That's so cool. And I think it's amazing how you and Christian sort of came together because you both have that heart of just wanting to help people. And I told you before, and Christian, I always tell you, I love talking about this. Lauren, I told you, I said I love if there's any opportunity to upskill, up level anyone in this industry so they have more power. Because I think that's the thing. As an artist, a lot of people just do say, and I say it again, it's all about the music, man. It's not. It's a business. You want to put gas in your tank. You want to put bread on the table. And so you have to, even if you don't know everything, you should try and know it as much as you can. And then also find people who you can turn to ask for advice. So I love what you're doing on behalf of everyone in the music industry. Thank you to Lauren and Christian for
Wow,
doing what you do, because it
that's
makes a
amazing.
difference. It definitely makes a difference. That's for sure. Well, we have a few comments here. We got Deval saying, "How's it? How's it, Deva? How you doing?" And
What's
then
up, buddy?
Anke says, "Had an interesting conversation." I know, right? Just wait. You just wait. Just wait. And then we've got Mark Lee, who is one of our regulars. Thank you so much, Mark, for always coming in. He's always commenting. I mean, you, Christian, you are always you two are always chatting. So this is Mark. Thank you so much for commenting in. So let's chat. So I know, and I want to start with Lauren for a minute, because firstly we have not seen each other in years, so this is like, I love this. Lauren, you obviously started in the entertainment industry. Your dad, I think, he was a director or a producer, am I right?
Yeah, he was also an armorer, so he basically taught actors how to use
That's
like
right.
firearms and things like that, which I eventually also learned later
So
on,
cool.
so that I could teach actors to do that. So yeah, people are scared of me.
I just
Wow.
always
With
found
the whole
you and your
firearms.
family are so weird and interesting. I was always so jealous. Like, that is so cool. Why do you get to live such a cool life and you get to play with wolves and stuff? Like, it's just so cool. But I mean, you also, so you grew up in this entertainment industry, and
Yeah.
you've obviously found a love and passion for it. But you also worked for, so explain when it comes to working for this lawyer that you worked for, that you were sort of
Mm.
under. What was it like working for that sort of person? How did you get that job? And what was your what did you mainly do for them?
Okay, so basically, I'll mention his name. His name is Nick Matsoukas. He's probably one of the most brilliant people I've ever met in my entire life.
Wow.
He's very well known in the industry. He can talk an ear off a donkey when it comes to entertainment law because he was actually part of the helicopters. He was the drummer for the helicopters.
So cool.
Whoa.
So that was awesome. But anyways, how I got the job. So while I was studying, I went up to him the one day and I'm like, listen, I love law and I love music. I love your subject, which was entertainment law / music law. I want to get more involved. I want to go to workshops. I want to see where I can, like sort of add my knowledge to the community, in the music industry. So he said, cool, get distinctions for every single one of my tests and come to every single one of my classes. And you can be in my internship for about like a year. I think it's a year and a bit. So after a lot of studying, a lot of late nights, I got to my goal, and I said, well, I've got the distinctions you wanted. Let's do this. I was very, very eager. So I got into his
Cool.
internship, and basically what I did was I handled a lot of copyrights. So I dealt with a lot of copyrights, contracts from drafting to reviewing to sitting down with clients. Obviously, he's teaching me all of this. So eventually, when he was, confident with my work and whatnot, he would kind of just be like, "Here's a client, go do the work." And then I would, and then I started meeting again like a lot of great people. I started making great connections, and actually through that, I got to work for Universal Music.
So cool. So
Yeah.
I mean, you were at Universal South Africa,
Yes.
and you met everyone. And what was your job there? What did you do? Who did you deal with?
So I dealt in the publishing department. I basically dealt with royalties. So I kind of made sure that the artists, I kind of found, if you want to call it, money for them in terms of royalties. Made
Yeah.
sure that their royalties got paid to them. Made sure that they, got the money that was owed to them. And then I would deal with contracts as well. It was very contract related. So if it was amending a contract or reviewing a contract, they often, it got to a point where they wanted to sign new artists and they came to me and they were like, listen, we want to sign this artist, but we need you to look at the contract and tell us that if it's legit, if it's all good, if there's anything that needs amending. So I obviously did that, and then artists were slowly but surely signed on. I got a lot of good friends of mine signed to Universal, because they're always looking for people.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I just dealt with a lot of that kind of thing. If you want to call it admin work, I was kind of an assistant, so I was a publishing
Sure.
assistant. Yeah, so day in and day out, I was dealing with artists and having meetings and absolutely loving it because I'm meeting all these amazing, awesome people.
Yeah.
You
So
feel like
then,
they're your friends, basically.
yeah. Well, then, why did you then leave Universal, and you've now also started your own paralegal? Am I right? Your own paralegal company, or am I
Yeah.
right? So,
Yes, yes.
what has that process been like? Why did you do that?
So I actually left because my contract was up.
Okay, it's a reason
And
to leave.
yeah. My contract was up, and unfortunately, I couldn't get any like different positions in the like departments or industry, basically. So
Right.
I thought, well, COVID's going to be an issue moving on with work and whatnot. So I thought, well, you know what? I've got this legal experience, I've got this legal knowledge, I want to put it to good use. I mean, I actually only thought of being an entrepreneur when I'm a lawyer and having my law firm. But I thought, well, let me start here. And then I started my paralegal company, which is called the Paralegal Company. And yeah, as I say, going along, helping lawyers, helping people where I can. I help with the whole, I don't just help with entertainment law, I help with like commercial, corporate, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I started finding people on LinkedIn to chat to and have Zoom calls with and say, listen, let's get connected. Because I like that. I like that face to face sort of interaction. And
Yeah.
again, artists, contact me and say, I don't know what a publishing contract is. I don't understand a record agreement. I don't know how royalties work. And I'm like, cool, let's
Yeah.
talk about it. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I think that's amazing because I mean I don't know about you, Chucks, but I mean in the beginning, like I had no idea what was anything, and I didn't even realize that if you filled in a form stating that you perform live, you can send it to Samra or Samra, and you can get paid for that. What? I
Yep.
should have thought, right? I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people, not a lot of people know this. I mean, when it comes to this sort of knowledge. Matthew, what was it like with you when you were in the beginning of this industry, collecting all of this knowledge, like trying to figure out the industry when it comes to these topics that Lauren's spoken about?
Well, I mean, I think there's still a lot of artists that have been in this industry for a long time that still actually have no idea what's going on, you know?
So true.
And I think honestly, I learn every day as I go along, especially when it comes to royalties and obviously live shows and obviously how you can earn money performing your own songs. Where artists don't realize that like you can claim royalties by performing your own songs at a festival wherever you are. And so I think it's been a long journey, but I've also been surrounded by a lot of people that have taught me all of this. And through them has actually made me curious to learn. So I would actually like put in the effort to actually just read and figure out what's it about and take the time to actually, read up and figure it out. Because I mean, it's they never reply back. It depends who you're emailing, but sometimes it's hard for them that they never reply. And to actually just go to if it's Samro or it's whoever, go to them in Johannesburg and knock on their door, and then you figure out actually it's actually quite they're actually very nice and they got some of their things in order. So I think through that and the people around me, it's been a cool learning curve for me,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's made it slightly easier. But if I didn't see them or if I didn't actually meet them, believe me, I probably would not know what's going on right now still. So
So
it's
true.
very hard.
Yeah, I totally get it. I mean, even with me talking to Christian, I will often just message him and be like, what does this mean? Or I don't know what they're talking about here, and I need your help. And South Africa is different to the States, so we need to somehow organize this.
Exactly.
I mean, and it's totally weird how two different countries have two different laws, but got to try and figure that all out as well. And Christian, I mean, we often speak about this, and I think this I would like to ask Lauren the same question. But when it comes to, like, the main mistakes, and you obviously love to talk about protecting your copyright and your brand and all those things as well. When it comes to artists and the biggest mistakes that they're making, what are the mistakes that artists are making right now?
Wow, you're putting me on a spot.
Here's a giant question for you. You're welcome.
Okay, well, I don't want to say anybody's making mistakes because
Sure. Okay.
yeah. But one thing I noticed is that a lot of artists actually neglect protecting their brand, if that
Right.
makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
So copyright is essential to your music, but when it comes to your brand, Chucks, show everybody your hoodie.
Make sure that the new release is going to be out soon. Make sure to get that.
Yeah. So your brand, what people actually buy into, the image surrounding it. And a lot of musicians don't understand the value of the brand and how to protect it. Because you are a business. And in essence, you as Chucks, you're the business. Your music is the service or the product you provide to people. And like any business, you have to protect your brand because people will start copying and like using your brand for their own benefit.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason I've worn this shirt. Recently, Nirvana actually went up, or the company that owns the Nirvana brand went up against a massive international clothing brand because of trademark infringement.
Ooh.
And Nirvana had the trademark, or Nirvana LLC, has the trademark for Nirvana. So they actually won, or they're still busy with the lawsuit, but they're going to probably win the lawsuit against this international brand who copied. It's not, you'll see on the Fame and the Stain IP socials. I had a post in a short article about it recently, or last week, where a band actually has this massive value in their brand, because the bigger the brand is, the bigger the brand becomes, and the more people want to make money and profit off your brand. And if you, like Chocks, he's got his own hoodies. He wants to protect it. He
Yeah.
wants to make sure nobody else uses Chocks and makes money out of it that doesn't
Yeah.
go to him. And a lot of musos neglect that part of the music business. So that's,
Yeah.
I won't say a problem and a fault,
Sure.
but it's something that musos don't focus on as much as they should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't think to. I think that's the reality of it. When it comes to being an artist, you honestly just want to make music. You've got stories to tell, and you think you're pretty good at it. So you just want to put music out there and do it. And you don't actually think about the
Yeah.
broader side of things when it comes to protecting your music when it's being used randomly in an advert and you don't know about it, or your brand being
Yeah.
used on T-shirts. I think a lot of people just don't even think about it. But even as an upcoming artist, as a young artist, if you approach it in that, it's that dress for the job you want sort of thing, it's that mentality. If you act as if, not in a snooty, arrogant way, but if you act in a business sense that you have all the success in the world, you then protect your sort of your entire brand, which is really important. So I mean, I think it's really important. Chucky's, I mean, what are
Yeah.
your thoughts on that? I mean, you've also worked with
Well,
some great brands yourself.
yeah, I mean, if I'm honest, like my parents always remind me, I mean, coming from a family that is also involved in many different businesses, uh, they've always said as soon as I step out of varsity, I mean, I studied jazz. I have a degree in jazz also, and he was saying, like my father also told me, as soon as you step out, you work for yourself. Basically, you are your own boss. You know, so I mean, everything you do is like it has to build up to basically your brand, and um, it's all good and well, you know, while being this artist and you want to focus on your music and put out. I mean, you just create focusing on the art is all cool, but I think you have to be very, very strategic about what you're doing. At the same time, you can't just say, okay, I'm just gonna play this type of music because it's gonna take me there. It's cool, but I mean, if you want to make a living out of it and actually have fun at the same time, you have to have a focus and you have to know where you want to be. And I think that's what I've been doing also, just my approach, everything that I do. Um, I always think about it and it's funny because no one really sees what happens behind the scenes, you know, but sitting and constantly figuring out designs. I love fashion. So from a fashion perspective, that's why I just love creating merchandise, I suppose. I soon want to change the name from merchandise to more of a clothing brand because, but obviously that steps into a whole other circle. But yeah, I mean, I think what Christian says, I mean, a lot of people neglect the other side of what goes on into actually making just music. It's more of a brand and protecting it, you know?
So then, Krishna, then when it comes to actually going about protecting that brand, how would somebody start out that process? What is step one?
Well, step one will be trademarking it.
Okay, I thought the step one would be
trademark your
contacting
name.
you.
Sorry.
Step one, contact you.
Oh yeah, but your first step would be, except for creating the actual brand and the image and stuff like that, is to obtain a monopoly through law, which is trademark. And I think everybody knows sort of what a trademark is. It's that small TM or the small R in a circle.
Yeah.
Technicalities aside, it's protecting your brand through trademark processing. And then also making sure that you actually have the rights in it. If somebody else designs the brand for you or the physical image for you, make sure that the copyright is assigned to you in writing for that specific design. Again, it's not American law. Paying somebody does not mean you now own it. It needs to be formally transferred in writing if somebody creates it for you, unless they are employed under you, and which I don't think musicians have graphic designers employed for them specifically. So make sure that the actual design is transferred in writing. Again,
Yeah.
we're now welcome to help, and I'm sure Loren has seen copyright transfer agreements more than you can count. So anybody that understands that side, make sure it's transferred, make sure it's protected through trademarks.
Okay, cool. So, and anyone that's watching that doesn't quite understand this, again, just contact fame.org.za. And I mean, Christian, you're amazing when it comes to this, but I think it's so important just to start out with step one and to just protect what you have, because everything, I think this is something, a concept that I really enjoy, is that even if you might not know or be able to do everything, but you have a particular skill, a particular talent that is so valuable that you can definitely pass on that knowledge or whatever that is, that story. But you have to remember that even though it's small, you still have to protect it. It's valuable no matter what. It has a value, so protect what you have. So I
Yeah.
definitely an agreement. And I mean, Loren, when it comes to you, you've, like Christian said, you've probably seen a bunch of these contracts, and you've done everything from worked for a huge machine like Universal to an amazing lawyer as well, and now you've got your own paralegal firm, a company as well. So when it comes to those, I don't want to say mistakes. What was the word that you used, Christian? They neglect was the word that they neglect. What
Neglect.
do a lot of artists, even the bigger guys, like, what do they sort of neglect when it comes to the legal side of things in the music industry?
Well, it's a very good question. Again,
Thanks.
I wouldn't call it like a mistake, or neglect is probably the best word, but definitely well, from my experience, definitely to do with their contracts, in terms of not understanding how the clauses work, sneaky little clauses that they sort of look past, because I mean, I fully understand the legal lingo is sometimes very difficult to understand if you don't understand the law behind it. So you just read it and you're like, okay, I'm going to sign it now.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, just hang on. And it's something that I cannot stipulate enough with artists. Just, you know, have your contract. If you read your contract and you're like, okay, this is very confusing, I don't know what any of this means, go to a lawyer or go to someone like Christian or myself and say, look, this is the contract, these are the clauses I don't understand, please can you help me understand them so I know what I'm getting myself into. Because there's that famous saying, signer beware, and it's basically stating that, I'm not trying to put record labels or publishers in a bad light, please don't think that, but it's really a good thing for artists to have that knowledge going forward, because when they need to negotiate, if they don't know what they're negotiating, you know, it's a bit difficult. So
Totally.
if they can have someone like Christian or myself or another lawyer just sitting there with them saying, okay, um, here's a clause that you don't understand. Here's my suggestion on how to negotiate it to suit both parties. That is what I find a lot with artists. You know, it's got nothing to do with the fact that they're silly or anything like that. It's just lack of knowledge, really. And
Yeah.
you know, I hate it when
Yeah.
people put artists in a bad light, because artists are not stupid people. They are very bright people, and they have very bright futures. That from
Thanks.
a lot of eyes.
We're both
What
like,
I've
thank you.
experienced.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So for me, it's just a case of, you know, again, there's not enough people in the industry to really teach them this. Like,
Yeah.
think about it. Um,
Yeah.
you know, I have people contacting me saying, "Where's courses? Where can I find courses? Where can I go?" You know, I'm so confused, and it's like, well, you know, ask the questions, and you know, we can answer them for you. So that's what I find a lot, is the contract knowledge is lacking, because they just don't understand how to read it.
Yeah.
And then once you explain to them, like, oh, cool, I understand this now. So they go off and they negotiate, which is,
Yeah.
you know, great.
No, totally.
that's cool.
And I know that, Christian, you've also mentioned before that they'll use Latin words, perhaps, and also the me before the you and the you before the me means a whole nother thing. And I mean, it is a totally different language. And you're right, there aren't really courses. However, I'm trying to think of the year, I feel so old saying that. Yay. I think it was 2013. Don't laugh at me, Christian. 2013, 2014. I was just about to graduate high school, and I was just about to sign with a local record label. And I mean, 18, wet behind the ears, totally green, you know. But I had the privilege of being in a course called the Africa Voices Program, which was run by a beautiful lady called Alice Shy Gillum, who is signed to Sony International as a composer, and she's been my mentor since I was like 13 years old as well. So she's honestly a beautiful human being, and she's written some amazing musicals as well, some pieces. But she did this course, this Africa Voices program, which happens every couple of years, and it's she picks a few people, and there'll be a theme for that particular year, and she'll pick like 8 or 10 people around that theme, and she'll give them this crash course, 8 months, every second weekend, come down to Cape Town, meet in a room, make friends in the industry. First of all, make friends in the industry, because this industry is very small and very ugly sometimes. So important to have friends in the industry, and to actually learn about these things, to know what a 360 is, like to know those little things where before you would have no idea, to know how important publishing is, to know how important it is to protect your copyright, all those things. And so I had the privilege of being part of that program, and actually around that time I was then signed to the label, which was a great help. But I made a lot of mistakes as well. In since then, as well, made mistakes, and then recently, beginning of this year, I signed with my publisher, John Fishlock, and Christian, know the story. We chased each other for an entire year. Like we were just like friends, and he would just like send me info in the States and Canada and the UK, whatever, and we were sort of sussing each other out. And he sent me the contract, and took a year for me to sign that. And I think that's how you know that someone really believes in your journey. It's when they actually say, I know you're an artist. Here's a contract. Get someone to look over it and take as much time as you need. Let's go back and forth with emails, and let's look at the red, let's look at the green, and let's go through it. And so important to find those people along your journey that actually will take the time to listen to you. So Loren, I know that you're sort of that person. How important when it came to your relationships as well, because you were big into you're big into your networking, and so now you're writing down stuff. You got in touch with Christian via link, so you love your networking and talking to people. And how important are those relationships in the industry, not just muso relationships, but in the actual the legal side of the music industry? How important are those relationships and knowing people, getting to know people?
It's extremely important, because the kind of like relationships you can make where those people can help you down the line when you're in a bit of a pickle, or you need some quick advice or something like that. It's really really helpful. I mean, I still go back to Nick and I'm like, listen Nick, I've got a bit of an issue. I just phone him and I'm like, I need help, I don't know what I'm doing. Let's say it's something I'm not really experienced in, and then
Sure.
he'll be like, okay, this is what you do, this is what you do. And the thing is, having those relationships, those people really, really help you in the long run, because what you've learned from them, you can now incorporate in your business, in your daily life, or tell other
Totes.
people. I mean, it's seriously helped me with my legal, career and my legal knowledge and things like that. So, when we were under his courses, he was basically putting us in court. So he was giving us a scenario, and then we had to bring out there was like a prosecutor and defense and all that kind of thing. We were in court, and it was such fun, because you're in the artist's shoes, and now you're having to deal with an issue or a contract question or things like that, and he gives real world experience,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what I give my artist contacts and friends. I give them a let's say, for example, I'll teach them something about a clause or a contract. Then I'll give them a real world scenario, and then I'll say, okay, how would you go about this? And
Sure.
then just to see that they understand. Making those connections at Universal was amazing, because I've got so many friends of mine who come to me and give me their music to listen to, and say, look, where should I change it? Will the industry like it? That sort of thing. And then I'll go back to Universal and be like, look, guys, I've got this artist. He's really good. He's got a bit of a, let's say, urban vibe, for example. And then within maybe a week, the person is signed.
So cool.
That actually happened a couple months ago, and that person was so excited they just literally jumped in my arms when they saw me.
Oh,
And
shame.
just to see that, it really makes me so happy, because
Wow.
just to see them be successful and grow, I'm just like, oh, I'm so happy. So yeah,
Oh
I
my
get a bit
gosh.
emotional because it's very special to me.
It's just so
Yeah.
cute. Oh my gosh. Just want to like, I don't know, cuddle you and dunk you in my coffee or something. Oh my gosh.
I don't know if
No.
it's good.
You're so cool, and I love your passion in this. And I get why you and Christian are connected, because you two are speaking the same language right now. So I think this is laughing. I think these sort of conversations are so important for artists to read the fine print, to ask for help. That's always a thing. I think as artists, I don't know about you, Chucks, but we sort of feel that we should know everything, and you get to a point when you hear the horror stories and you hear the good stories, and you sort of feel you should just know everything. But the reality is, you should know enough to get through and not be duped. But it's important to ask for help, right? It's important to
Yeah.
ask for help.
I think there's
I
no
don't
harm in
agree.
asking for help.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So anyone out there that doesn't know what their next step is, read the fine print. If you don't know what it's talking about, contact someone like Loren or someone like Christian,
Yeah.
and have a chat. And fame.org.
The
Yeah,
man's got it.
fame.org.
Wow. Good job.
There we go. Look at we got this. We got this. This left and right thing, guys. I don't know how this works. I'm left-handed, so everything's backward for me. No
Wow.
lies.
You play guitar
Any,
left-handed?
no, I play right-handed. See, now that's the thing. The world is not made for left-handed people. Did you know that? Salt and pepper, you twist to the right, not to the
Really?
left.
But I don't
I,
know. If,
I
I
did
play
not know
violin.
that.
Sorry, completely off the subject. I play
Okay.
violin. I'm actually left-handed, and it helps because your left hand is the one that does most of the work. So instruments are for left hand.
Oh, that's
Exactly.
so weird.
I know, but high five, you and me, like lefties. Boom, there we go. There we go. Aware.
Yeah.
No, it's so
Oh,
true.
But
And
think of it
I
like
had a,
that.
but that's the thing. I had a
but
friend who taught me how to play drums, and I learned right-handed. But he said left-handed people that play right-handed drums apparently are better because
left-handed.
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. I just know how to boots and cats it, so that's all I can do. I'm not multi-interested. Like I can play guitar and piano and a bit of bass and drums, but you two, I know you two are like multi-instrumenters and yeah. And Christian sneaks like instruments into his house without his wife knowing. So yeah.
Oh, really? She's listening.
So sorry.
Hopefully, she's not tuned in.
Oh man, no, this is so funny. So actually, yeah. So music. Let's talk a bit about music, because I think we've spoken a bit about law. Oh gosh, I got a heckload of comments here.
Comments.
I know. I'm
Comments.
so sorry. I always get left behind here. Okay, so Mark Lee has commented quite a bit. Thank you so much, Mark. He says that I think this came up. Parents were on radio. So Loren, you grew up in the industry. He was saying he also grew up in the industry. And there's some fellow jazz. There we go, fellow jazzy. And unfortunately, lots of festivals you want to play without the return that artists deserve. I mean, yeah, it's true. Actually, we should chat a bit about this as well. There's quite a bit here. I've seen that some crazy riders and contracts, like certain brands. Oh gosh, riders and tech riders and everything. So for anyone that doesn't know, a tech rider is when an artist rocks up to a show. They've got a tech rider for how they want their stage to be set up, how many guitars there are, how many mics they want, where they want the monitors, and then how many M&Ms they want in the jar backstage. For me, I want only the pink M&Ms and 36 bubbles per sip of my sparkling water. Thank you so much. I'm not a
Beautiful.
diva. Thank you so much. Also, it's important to have extra products, i.e. cups. This is branding. This is like those little brand things. And I think a lot of artists, especially now, because CDs are a bit of a thing of the past, unless you're in the Afrikaans industry or you're in country where everybody buys a CD. But CDs aren't a big thing anymore, but I think the reality is when it comes to CDs, t-shirts, all these merchandise, you're laughing at me, Christian. All these merchandise options are still big. I mean, when it comes to like a Taylor Swift show, I will walk away with all those t-shirts. That's for sure. So a lot of people do forget that. And then Christian, you've posted, if anyone wants to check out, go to fame.org.za on Facebook as well. And I know you're always posting about new things. So I do want, oh, no, Mark's also a lefty. And then Dustin has said, yeah, lefties for the win. I also feel like it gives an edge. It does.
How many lefties are you in the world?
There's lots of
Not
lefties in
enough.
the world.
You need
Not enough. It's the first time I've ever seen this.
But it is weird because the world is made for right-handed people. Like, so for just like the smallest detail, because I love cake. So obviously I know this fact. My mom loves to bake, which is great for me. And the cake, the cake slicer that also lifts the cake,
Yeah.
where
curve.
the sharper part of that cake lifter slicer thing is for right-handed people. So I will try and cut the cake and I look like an absolute failure, but that's just because it's actually not meant for me. So I have to somehow, I don't know, cut. I can't even slice bread. So I don't know how to do it because the thing is wrong. So the world is not made for left-handed people, and you twist things the wrong way around. Like salt and pepper, you twist it right, not.
It'll be so easy to be your boyfriend because then I'll just like get everything's left hand and presents are easy. Left hand and knife, salt and pepper.
Oh my gosh! Okay,
Convert everything.
That's
I'm
hilarious.
the only one that's like a right-handed person when I play instruments, like piano or guitar.
Are you right? Are you completely right-handed? Like there's nothing
Yeah,
else.
my left hand's really dumb. Like today I was trying to play the keyboard and
I
like
love this
I'm
conversation.
going at it with my right hand, but my left hand's just in space because
Oh
I'm
gosh.
trying.
That is
It becomes like
Oh my gosh! So then, what about you, Chucky's? Because you're righty, but you play everything righty. So then,
no, I
what?
do. I think I'm lucky where I'm both. So like I can skateboard either way. I can write.
Oh, show off!
I can play a piano, clean scales, right? It's easy. If you play a saxophone, you must be able to be very, very fast. So.
It's true. It's true. And I also I started out on the piano, so I think I write with my left hand, but I do everything else ampy. Like I'm ampy. I crochet and knit both. You know, I can
Okay.
my handwriting is shoddy, but I can write with my I'm definitely a lefty, but I do everything right. But when it comes like piano, like you sort of learning piano, you sort of learn how to separate the two hands. I think as a lefty, it maybe makes it easier because you use your left all the time, but your right is the main lead, the melody part of it. So I don't know. And guitar, I don't know how.
It's so weird actually, because if you ever play piano and you try and move it as fast as your right hand, you can't. But as soon as you play guitar, it's so much easier. It's weird, right? I don't
can't
know.
even turn the guitar like I know it's the way around. I'm not, but I look stupid holding the guitar this way. Like I don't even know what I'm doing. I can't even. I played a left-handed guitar the other day. I looked stupid. Like I didn't even know how to play like a D, and a D is like the easiest thing to play. This is great. So we've got some people love this. I love this conversation. My left hand is also pretty useless, but the funny thing is, I used to do archery. Didn't you do archery,
Wow.
Loren?
No, but I work with firearms, so
Oh,
that's
gee
still
whiz.
Oh my
You work with firearms?
yeah, part of working in the film industry is we had to teach actors how to use firearms in a professional but safe manner. So anything from like AK-47s to sniper rifles to all that kind of
Whoa,
thing. We had
gee
to.
whiz.
At school, she was like the coolest chick. Like, oh my gosh.
But most people were scared of me because everyone thought I was some sort of an assassin. Even in college, people were scared of me.
No ways.
Oh,
Christian,
that is
have you ever held a gun before?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
Are you talking to Christian or me?
Yeah, I'm talking to him, and then we'll figure this one out because I don't want to be the only one left out here.
I actually in school did shooting like
Oh wow, epic. Gee, whiz.
But
Lauren,
yeah,
you're
no,
gonna have to teach me
I don't
something here.
like guns.
Give
But
you,
don't
know-
I
I
can
can
teach
use
you.
it.
Lauren could teach us. Let's all go to Lauren. And then
Yeah.
I have to be honest, I have shot before. And I was on a friend's farm in Mossel Bay. And he lives on a farm. So we were like out with the gun, like just shooting at cans. I shot those cans. Yeah.
Wow. Good job.
Yeah. So let's all go to Lauren's. But Trisha, you don't like guns. You don't like guns. That's the thing.
No.
In a safe environment.
Yeah, no, in a safe
I
environment.
have
But
a.
I'm more sword and blade guy. Where is this conversation going?
I'm thinking you don't like guns because it's very dangerous, and then you pull up a more sword and knives.
I have a very funny story about something that's quite I felt quite terrible about when so long story short, we had this one event where we had to modify a paintball gun, but like from something that was this big, we had to make it like that big. So what we
Yeah.
had to do was we had to shoot out these paintballs that would like essentially ignite. So
Oh yeah.
my parents live on a fairly big property, so we were like, okay, we would like modify the gun. This was at night time, so I was like, this me at night time, I can't really see well. So my dad hands me this paintball gun, and he's like, okay, so whatever you hit, this thing is gonna ignite. So try not to set the house on fire. So I'm like, okay,
Oh.
cool. I'll just point it at a tree.
That's still one
So I
thing.
pointed it at a tree, but I pointed up, right?
Oh!
And I shoot at the tree, and I see this like big fireball thing come down, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I hit? And we went over and we discovered I hit a pigeon.
Oh my gosh,
You eat a
really?
pigeon.
Chicken. Pigeon.
I felt so terrible because I had at the time I had birds as pets.
Oh, shame.
Oh,
He's
that
not
is
gonna get any legal advice from you anymore.
Oh wow, this conversation is so great. Like, let's talk about legal and new music. Wow, inner. This is the conversation on a Sunday night, yo. Well, this is great. Christian, I think he's just sorting out something backstage. Oh, there he is. Hang on. But I do want to. We've still got a few more things to chat about, so we might go a smidge over time if you guys are fine with that. We won't go until 2 a.m. I promise. But there are a couple of things I want to chat about still. So, and we still have live music to get to because it's a new song. So let's chat about Chucky's. I want to chat about this awesome new track that you've got. It's called Fire. I did speak about it in the beginning. Everyone go and download it. It's called Fire. And I've actually got a picky over here.
Oh, yes.
Go and download it. Matthew O'Connell on Facebook and your Chucky Chucks on Insta, and go and download it. So listen, when it comes to, I also want to chat about the music video and the scenery, because also the actual cinematography, and Loren, you would appreciate this with your background as well. The actual cinematography is awesome. So first of all,
Oh, wow.
when it came to writing the song, what was the inspo? And then did you produce it? Did you get someone else to produce it? Like, give me the rundown.
Okay, so I pretty much do everything myself. So play all the instruments, and then when it came to the production, I made the song myself also. So obviously, being traveling the world and just being around producers like in Germany, Netherlands, just being in a lot of songwriting sessions in one day, started to pick up on a few things. And so yeah, so basically, I produced the entire song myself and songwrote it. And then I went a step further. I know you're not supposed to do this as an artist, but I ended up mastering the song myself also.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it was just like I was just in that space, and I was like, okay, well, doesn't need that much, so let me just end up mastering it. And then basically, yeah, I mean, that song took me about, I think I set a deadline, because you have so many songs that you make, and you can make all of them, but you'll never finish them. We all know this as artists. And I think sometimes you just have to set a deadline and say, this is when it's going to end. Have your whiteboard next to you and just put deadlines on when you're going to finish it. And that's what I did. I gave myself, I think, at least 3 weeks to finish the song. And with this, I had chalk sessions running where I take covers, right, and I change it and make it my own. So it was quite hectic because I would have to produce a song and songwrite, and at the same time, I had a weekly production that I would have to try and make a cover and make it completely different. So it was fun, but it was actually sometimes quite hard because also being a perfectionist, it's just like you just have to do it, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, that's my song. And then from a cinematography perspective, obviously I also love film. With Good Luck's majority of, I mean, all their vlogs and all that stuff, I used to shoot and edit. And then the last music video, I also co-directed. And basically, I was like, okay, I got my friend Sam. He goes by the name of Samuel. He's also part of a incredible band called or group duo called No Method.
Oh, so
Which yeah,
cool.
and I mean, they had a hit that went to 150 million views just on YouTube, which was crazy.
Wow.
And yeah, so he has his whole family is actually into film,
Hmm.
and he's like, "Look, I want to shoot your music video for you." And it was just him, and he had his camera, and basically he shot the whole thing, and I helped him direct it. But over a space of one day, we just did it ourselves. And now I think for every song that we're going to do, we're going to have a music video. So we have agreement. I should use music videos and he's going to shoot my music videos.
That is so
um,
cool. I love that. I absolutely
so
love that.
yeah, I think I mean, for now, it's been quite cool because we have control of what we want to do. So
Mm,
when it comes to, we're pretty much involved in every part of it,
mm,
which is cool because if we want to edit this, we know how to do it. If we want to shoot this, we know how to shoot it.
yeah.
So from a point of, I think I always say like this: nothing, you can't not do anything. You know what I mean,
Yeah.
did I say that right? I don't know. I like to be open to learning and not setting limits and stuff. So
Yeah.
from that perspective, doing this from producing the song, songwriting it, and pretty much the music video being involved in it, um, it's actually helped me figure out how to put a product together.
Yeah.
And then obviously having this and then figuring out how to take it to market and how to create hype and awareness around everything. So in this month, it's been the release of the 0909. It's been a fun learning curve, you know, just figuring out what works, what doesn't work, what
Yeah.
I do for the next one.
Well, I think
So
like
yeah,
lockdown, like I'm sure you're the same, but like lockdown has, I know you already had like this huge, amazing skill set, but lockdown sort of forces you to grow that skill set a bit more because there's nothing else to do. So I'm
yeah.
sure you've learned a ton as well during this process. But what has the response been like to the new song? And obviously people are leaving lockdown, so they're wanting a good jam to listen to make them feel good and getting out and about. So like, what's the vibe been toward the song?
So it's been really great, actually. A lot better than I actually thought. So
Oh,
I mean,
so
I put
cool.
that was the best part. And then I woke up the one day. I mean, the next day I woke up and it had over. I mean, so I look at YouTube because obviously in South Africa, YouTube doesn't really do well for a lot of artists for some
Mm,
reason.
sure.
I'm still trying to study the whole way the platform works and stuff. But I mean, it did super well and it reached to a lot of artists, like well-known artists in Germany that ended up posting the song. I got people in Holland that ended up posting it. So now, on my stats point of view, it's all around Mexico, the States, which is picking it up. And I was like, whoa! I just,
Oh,
I just released this all by myself, and it's managed to get that far. So it's been really good. And I ended up making now a remix version of it because I just want to get to different markets that sometimes not every radio station plays your music, right?
sure.
So I'd like to give them an option to say, okay, if you don't want to play this one, maybe here's another option for you to listen to. It's still very much in the beginning stages of playlisting. So because
Mm,
it takes some songs only take 6 months. I mean, yeah, a couple of weeks actually. Sorry, 6 weeks or so for it to actually pick up on radio.
yeah.
So I've
Yeah.
created a remix for the song, and now I'm ready on the next song, figuring out the next release plan.
Yay!
So
That is
yeah,
so cool. cool. Oh my gosh. Well, speaking of it, let's just get into some live music because we do have some more questions, but I want to just I want to hear this really cool song. And I know you've got the remix for us to listen to as well.
Yeah.
So let's do that. And you don't have to sing the entire song if you don't want to. If you want to sing the whole song, like I'm so keen to listen, but totally up to you as well. But like you go for it. Let's do that. And while you're sorry.
No. No, you carry on.
Okay, cool, because I talk too much. So you guys must tell me to shut up. So if for anyone watching, so what I love to do in the middle, I always say halftime, but it never happens because we talk way too much. I talk too much. As I like to do a writers round, and just so everyone knows what a writers round is. In New York, LA, you people normally know about an open mic, and you sign up beginning of the evening at X time, and you play your song, you do your song, and you hop off the stage. In Nashville, Tennessee, you get writers rounds, which is like an open mic, but a bit more like meat to that idea. So this happens in every single bar, down every single. If you've been to Nashville, you know there's just bars down every single street, down every single block, and inside these bars there are these writers rounds, and it's 3 or 4 guys and girls on stage, all plugged in with their guitars, with their piano, with their band, whatever it is, and they each sing an original song in turn. And that just happens for an entire hour. They just go round and round in circles for the whole hour. When the hour's up, they get off and you guys get on. So there's always fresh music. There's always new stories to listen to, which I love. So because we can't do that live at the moment, only in certain places, and I know Nashville, Tennessee is struggling with their live scene. I think we're only getting back into our live scene now in a small way in South Africa. So we still get to do it here, which is awesome. And Chockies, you've done this before. So like you take it away. You go for it. It's all you.
Okay, cool. So for the original song, obviously I feel like I'm on stage right now. But for the original song, you can go check it out on my YouTube. It's Matthew O'Connell right here. So you can go check it out. That's the original version. I'm gonna be singing my remix, which no one has heard yet. And okay, besides from a small little crowd outside in the farmlands, but because I did a little show there for them. But you, the next people. So I'm gonna perform it. I hope you guys enjoy it. Can you hear me? You can hear me?
Oh, turn.
Alright. It's going up. I feel like I'm on the spot right now. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this.
Yeah.
Don't me down, baby, listen. I know you're saying when I'm wrong, yeah. Give me one shot to prove you different. I'm not saying I'm so innocent. I got it that shit when you need it. So they taste me like that's your only side. I won't stop trying till you're satisfied. And I say, no, I believe. It's not until you say you don't wish you by your side. And I know the thing until I can't let you make me shy. I'm just you and me. What if you guys dance?
I feel like I'm on a live show right now.
All right, that's what it is.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Amazing. I love that song. I love it so much. That
Thank you.
pre-chorus is also just killer. Absolutely killer.
Thank you.
Love it.
Yeah,
Oh my
so
word.
that's the remix version. Obviously, the other version's a lot slower, but hope you guys enjoyed. Hey, Christian,
Alright.
your dance move there, buddy. I love it.
What?
The dance moves were
danced
legit, man.
in the privacy of backstage, and Ali just put me on. I'm like,
You're welcome.
nobody's gonna see me. I have to dance.
I love it, man. I love it.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So that's awesome. So everyone please, we're gonna comment on what a great song. Agreed, right? Agreed. Everyone
you,
go and
Mark.
download. It's called Fire by Matthew O'Connell. You can find Matthew O'Connell on Facebook. It's Chucky Chucks on Insta,
Yeah.
and the song is under Matthew O'Connell, am I right?
Yeah, everything's under Matthew O'Connell. They can go check it out, and yeah,
Amazing.
I hope they enjoy it.
So cool, so cool. Oh, that's such a great song. I love it. Well, I'm gonna do a song. I'm gonna do an acoustic song. So I don't expect
Beautiful.
Christian to start like club dancing to my song. Can you hear the guitar well enough? Is that good?
Yep.
Amazing. So I just want to double check. Okay, well, I'm gonna do something a little bit different. I'm gonna do a song that I wrote with a couple of mates in Nashville. I wrote it with a guy called Doug Romano, who's a producer in Canada. Really, really cool dude. And then a beautiful, lovely lady her name is Patricia Conroy. She was a pop star in Canada back in the day, and now just loves to write. So we got together in her little, I say little, it's beautiful house in Nashville. And I mean, it was just, we wrote about the being out and meeting people at this really cool bar. And I think the coolest bars are always the dingy places that people sort of underestimate, where there's actually just really, there's a jukebox in the corner, and there's only whiskey glasses, and there's no ice. It's straight. Like, I love those sort of places. And there's a little dance floor with someone doing like a two-step or whatever it is, a little line dance in the cowboy boots. Like, those are always the cool places to go. And in South Africa, you also get those places. So I'm going to do the song. It's called, ironically enough, it's called The Right Bar. Slide of a steel guitar, where the drinks are straight up, no ice dollar in that old tip jar. Tell me that you're looking for someone with a bit of a ripped up heart. You came to the right bar, 2 bucks and slinging those. Maybe we could dance to a slow song. Steal my kisses in the dark. Small talk and dirty, 'cause we could fall in love before too long. Underneath the Texas star, you came to the right bar. Yeah. The right bar. If you're looking for a new buzz, no fuss, right here on the edge of town. And wanna get to know me, holding me tight until the sun goes down. If you wanna find out what's missing, I'll be standing out in the crowd. You came to the right bar, 2 bucks and swinging doors. Maybe we could dance to a slow song. Steal my kisses in the dark. Small talk and dirty, 'cause we could fall in love for too long. Underneath the Texas star, you came to the right bar. Yeah, the right bar. And I'm waiting and
baby, the night is young. And if you're not looking for just anyone, you came to the right bar. The right bar. You came to the right bar. Two boxes singing, thus maybe we could dance to a slow song. Steal my kisses in the dark. Small talk and dirty flaws. We could fall in love before too long. So go ahead and park your car underneath the Texas star. 'Cause you came to the right bar. The right bar.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Aw, thank you. Oh, thank you, Loren. I potato you too.
Your voice is just, oh wow, you have such an angelic
Aw,
voice.
Thank
But you've always
you.
So
had such a
beautiful.
beautiful voice.
Oh, thank you so much. Can I just like keep you in my pocket?
That
I'll keep you.
sounds like it should be in a feature in a romantic comedy of some kind.
Gosh.
Yeah, totally right.
It should like yeah. Okay, we gotta find someone really cool to sing this. And like, okay, so anyone out there that wants a really cool song, let's get this out there. And then they must sing the song, and then they must put this into a Netflix film. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Love it, guys. Well, this is I love having these conversations. I love chatting about everything we've spoken about, including like being left-handed and not being left-handed, and the firearms and the bows and arrows and everything. This has been a really, really great, like, rounded conversation, I feel. So like I love this, and I actually want to chat to everyone about we're sort of going a bit over time, which I know we were going over time. But there's one more topic that I just want to chat about, and I think that Loren and Christian, you'd be able to sort of help out, and maybe Chucky's, you being an artist as well, you sort of would feel this a bit. I just want to touch on the subject. So when it comes to the new laws that Facebook are introducing, when it comes to being able to like just do your music live, Christian, are you able to somehow, for people that don't understand, because I personally don't understand it completely when it comes to what these new laws are. I get the benefits, but I also see the problems of it. So why have Facebook changed the streaming, the live streaming laws for their platform?
Well, they actually haven't changed it.
I thought
It's
they
the
were.
same. No, it's the same rules. They only just made it public to say, well, as of 1 October, we are actually going to start enforcing it more. So if you look at the copyright laws and the streaming laws, it's the same. It's always been.
Okay.
They just now made it public, and all of a sudden everybody freaked out. But it's the same thing. They're not changing on that specific subject.
Sure.
They're not changing anything. So if you weren't blocked when you do live streams, you generally won't be blocked in future.
Okay.
So nothing will change.
Mm.
They're just gonna be slightly more vigilant and slightly more strict on it. But
Sure.
if you did live streams during, or from what we could understand and from what actually Facebook published, their legal team actually published stuff afterwards. And that they said if you weren't blocked, or if your video weren't removed and you continue on the same trend, you're
Sure.
still fine. That's what it came down to.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you don't need to be too worried unless you start playing copyrighted and pre-recorded music that you don't have the rights to. And remember, again, you might not even have rights in your own music. That's something that you have to remember. So you can't play your own recording live because you
because you think you own it.
Loren, I think, is more qualified to talk to that.
Okay, well then please go for it. So why were people mainly getting blocked? Was it because they were playing covers? Was it because they were playing an actual recording of somebody's song, like DJ? Like, why were people getting blocked, Loren? And then
I think that I think that was one of the reasons, is because they're possibly playing a cover of someone else's music, and it hasn't been licensed yet, or they didn't
Right.
get the permission to do so. And I mean, like anything, if you're going to play a cover of someone else's music that you could potentially in the future benefit from in terms of being paid a royalty for that, for example, you need to get that permission. It's because it's that person's work, it's not yours. It's the same like if you want to adapt someone's song, you still need to get that permission and
Yeah.
whatever, right? So, do you mind if I just explain it?
Please.
Okay. All right. So, this is fun. Okay. Sorry. So how it works is, let's say Alexandra wrote a song. Okay, she's written lots of songs, but she wrote a song. Matthew came along and he's like, "Oh, I really like the song. I want
Thanks, Matthew.
I want to remix it. I want to add in different instruments. I want to essentially what is known as an adaptation.
Sure.
So he then goes to you and says, Alex, this is the idea of the song. Would you be cool with that? And you go, absolutely, because obviously you would benefit from the royalties from that.
Yeah.
And so then Matthew goes ahead and creates what's called a new copyright. So his new copyright work, if that gets if someone else uses that work of his that he created, then that's copyright infringement on his side.
Okay.
So he's now created a new copyright. So whatever he's added to that song, if it's like different instruments, if it's a different arrangement, that he owns. So that in itself can be copyright infringed. So like anything, you're going to go and cover someone's work, and if you're just doing it for your family to just see, oh, look, she can sing. I've heard in the past that it's not so much of an issue, but if you want to benefit from that in terms of making money, you need to acquire the license and permission to do so. That's an extreme, because it's not fair. Let's say, for example, Matthew does a cover of your song, and he ends up earning, so many royalties off it and getting so much exposure, and you're sitting in the back like, well, you didn't ask me for my permission. Like, that's not cool.
Gosh, Matthew.
Sorry, Alexandra.
So that's right.
I'll give you off.
And I have a lot of artists who come to me and say, I wanna this person's song's really cool. I wanna incorporate it into my music. And I'm like, okay, great. That's fine. But did you ask them, their permission? Did you tell them what you wanted to do? Because your song, just like your brand, is your image at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, for example, let's say an Afrikaans singer comes along and wants to adapt the song to be an Afrikaans. And maybe for some reason you don't like that. It is your right to turn around and say, look, I'm not really for that because of this and this reason. So, yeah, definitely when it comes to covers, if you guys are going to, not you guys, but I'm saying people on this, call out artists and whatnot, are going to do something like that, always ask permission. And like I say to everybody, and I think Christian would agree with me, is get everything in writing. So if you say to someone, can I, cover your song, get that on an email, get that in a contract, if you will, because that will help you down the line. And I think with Facebook, I think what they've done is it's not terrible, but like he says, they're kind of making stricter laws and things like that, which is, it's good.
Yeah, I think that's
what I've read. Yeah.
I see. That's why I see it as a positive from that side, because it is protecting. It's a dress for the job you want. It's protecting the bigger scheme of things, and that means that when eventually, if you make it into that pool of big people as well, your music is going to be protected as well. So I know that people find it really tough and irritating when their streams do get blocked. But at the end of the day, imagine that's you would want your money to come your way because you put hard work into that project. So we've got a comment here. My opinion is that because of all the live streams, the artists adding their own bank details instead of monetizing pre-recorded videos.
What?
I'm not sure I completely understand.
I don't understand.
Oh, I think Tian means that he thinks YouTube, Facebook actually started limiting because they wanted to get a cut through monetization instead of people donating. But on that, and I know Tiana, I spoke to him a few times. Monetization, even if I put my banking details on the stream, it won't affect the monetization once your video reaches the
Sure.
criteria for monetization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, true. Okay. And we've got a question from Stu. What about when singers sing covers? Okay, this is actually what I wanted to ask as well. What about when singers sing covers on shows like America's Got Talent? Some singers do original songs, but the judges also prefer well-known songs. And the same also, so when it comes to like these big shows like Got Talents and Voice and whatever, also when it comes to the actual your live performance, like a gig, when you are gigging, you're playing covers. When it comes to playing other people's songs, what are those rights like? I don't know, Lauren, do you want to go first with this?
Well, I mean, it really just depends. When people are like playing a club or whatever, they'll get something. So I don't know if any of you are aware of the difference between a performance fee and a performance royalty. So a performance fee is generally like to deal with the club, and then the performance royalty is to do with, obviously, because your music is now performed on in public,
Live.
you get that royalty.
Yeah.
So anything that's publicly performed essentially would be paid that royalty. So, Christian, what is your view on the whole America's Got Talent kind of thing? Have you ever been approached with something like that?
I've been approached by a few artists that took part in a South African competition recently. I won't mention names because I don't want to step on any toes or put anybody in a bad light. But where they wanted requests surrounding that. But I think when it comes to these international type shows, like America's Got Talent or Got Talent and those things, the show actually goes through the effort of making sure that all the legalities are in place. They actually know, not necessarily the judges, but the producers would know what songs these people will sing way beforehand. Make sure it's a song that you can sing, that there's no royalty dispute, that there's no copyright infringement. Make sure the licenses. So the producers of the song of the show, they make sure all of those legalities are in place before the show actually gets aired. So the behind the scenes stuff on that is brilliant, and there won't be any issues like that when they air it, because they don't want to go through the risk of getting sued by Universal or Sony because they aired a song of somebody doing a cover. So they'll have all of that in place. When it goes to large scale
the proper procedures, they have to, because like Christian says, the big companies, they cannot deal with lawsuits or anything like that. And I mean, from the get-go, whoever's going to come on and whatever song they're going to sing, they have to, obviously they have, like, I imagine they have lists and whatnot, and then they contact the relevant record labels or publishers or artists and notify them and say, look, this person's going to be on America's Got Talent, they're going to be singing your song, we're just making you aware of it. So they have to follow a procedure. It's legal procedure they need to follow, because the lawsuits for that would be quite hectic.
Yeah, totally. And I actually think, just behind the scenes, I think it's very cool that not a lot of people know behind the scenes of these big shows, because it all just looks completely seamless. But behind the scenes, when you audition for something like SA's Got Talent, you stand in a big queue and you weave your way through, and there's lots of people. You go into a tiny room with like 2 or 3 producers, you sing your song. Often they ask you, when you are signing up, if you ask a singer or whatever, to prepare like 2 or 3 options, so that if the first one falls through, they can. And then if you get through to the televised round, it's then decided which song you will sing. And often producers on the show will actually sort of guide you, figure out where your brain is at, where your brand is at, and will help you pick the right outfit, the right song, the right setting, everything for that moment. Like with my sister, she was on SA's Got Talent in 2015, I think. And she, in her televised audition round, she did Let It Go from Frozen, which is like the biggest song at the time, probably still is not, like, you can imagine if nothing had been dealt with. But she went into the non-televised audition with a couple of options, and then it's then organized and sorted out before. So I think, like what you're saying, everything is definitely fixed beforehand. Otherwise there'll be major problems. But that all makes total sense. I don't think we have any more questions for that, because that all makes total sense. And then when it comes to performing covers in like a live setting, I know that like with you, Chucks, I'm sure like at every performance you'll sign a form to send Samra and Sampra, like say that you've performed a set. These are
Yeah.
these are my songs. These are the covers. How does that
Yeah.
all like? Do you guys know how that all works? How that connects to the artist when it comes to covers? And is live stuff? Do they really care about those sort of things to an audience if you're getting paid your fee or whatever it is? I don't know if you guys know about those sort of laws.
Yeah, well, if you don't mind me going, Facebook and YouTube, and I assume some of the other platforms that we don't really know in South Africa, they actually have procedures in place and regulations in place where the owner of the copyright gets notified through computer or what algorithms and stuff,
Sure.
to say, well, this song has been used in a cover, picked it up. How would you like us to deal with it? And then they can either block the video or share the monetization on it, or take all the monetization for themselves. So the
Right.
owner of the copyright actually gets the opportunity through these platforms to decide how he will get his royalties. Most of them will probably say, that's fine, cover the song, I'll keep the royalties. Some of them actually split it. It's rare that you see them being blocked, because at the end of the day, if the song is played and you get your royalties as the artist, as long as it's a good song, you'll be happy. And YouTube used to have a list of songs you can cover, with what the artist or the copyright owner actually told YouTube, this is how I want you to deal with my music.
Sure.
They still have the list, they just don't have it public anymore.
Okay.
But they used to have that list where you see, okay, if I covered this song, I get 2% of the royalties, argument's sake. So you as a copy, and I mean, if you, Ali, if one of your songs gets covered, theoretically you'll be able to say, okay, well, this is a nice cover, but I want 50% of the royalties or something like that.
Yeah. That makes total sense. I mean, if I cover Matthew's song, I mean, I'll keep 100% of them. Kidding. No, it makes total sense. I think credit due where it's due. So yeah, I think I get why people are frustrated with these new laws, or these laws that have been made more public, or whatever it is. But in the larger scheme of things, I think it just benefits the entire wheel of the industry. And it makes it a real business industry. It's not just about making music, man, for the fun of it. It's really a business. I want to put gas in my tank. Thank you so much. I would like to feed myself. So it's important to think of it that way. But I mean, I think we've gone way over time, which I'm so sorry, guys. But I love these conversations.
Fine.
I love these chats. And I would just love to round off the show with some pearls of wisdom. We've got some upcoming artists that are watching, people that have been in the industry for a long time, and that have been around the block. But if you guys have a pearl of wisdom, just to share with anyone watching, perhaps, Chuckies, do you wanna start that?
Well, I think, if I'm honest, there's no like I don't know. I think there's no magic trick behind it, when it comes to what you're wanting to achieve. If anything, I mean, knowing what I've known, I just used like a term of like, if you go to the gym tomorrow, you're not gonna come out with a six pack. You know what I mean? And it's gonna take some time. And believe me, I've been trying that. It doesn't work. So my point is, it's like, just, I mean, if it's like I say this, if it's songwriting that you enjoy, if it's making music, if it's just understanding the music world, then it's something that you have to practice every single day. And of course, you have to enjoy it as you would, because, and yeah, I mean, if you're in this world, you have to just become obsessed with it. It's sometimes maybe like bad, but that's what you have to do. And at the end of the day, if you're just doing that and you're still having fun, the things that you set out to do will be achieved. So yeah, just keep on doing it.
Keep on keeping on. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. And 10,000 hours. It's a real
yeah.
rule. 10,000 hours. It's real.
Just
It's totally
listen
real.
to Ed Sheeran. I mean, that's what I do a lot. Is that I watch a lot of documentaries and I watch a lot of other artists. I'm like a stalker when it comes to other music like writers in studios. So I'll go in and I'll just watch all their recording sessions and
So
what they do. And that's the basics. He just says even when I sat when I met up with him and stuff, that's what he said. 10,000-hour rules.
amazing. It's so true. Thank you so much for coming on this evening, Chuckies, and sharing your new song, the remix. I'm so excited. And again,
Yeah,
people go and download Fire by Matthew O'Connell. It is
please
incredible.
do.
And the music video is awesome. Go watch it on YouTube
Amazing.
and on there's also a phone version of it. Am I right? There's that way. What is
Yeah,
that
there's a
way?
phone teaser. A
Horizontal. Vertical. I'm left-handed. This is my excuse. So go watch it. It's awesome. But thank you so much for coming on and sharing
Thank you
your
so much for
your
having
love
me.
and passion. No, you're welcome. Thank you for
And
coming on.
and it's so nice meeting all the other guys, Christian and Lauren. And it was so nice actually hearing what you guys have to say. I've learned a lot actually listening to you guys. So thank you.
Me too. I know, right? Oh my gosh. Well, okay. Well,
Yeah.
Lauren, it's your turn next. Do you have any pearls of wisdom for anyone out there that is watching and listening in?
Sure. I definitely agree with what Matthew says in terms of working very hard. Um, anyone's dream can become a reality if you work really, really hard. And in terms of giving some wisdom, make sure to read your contracts, please. And if you guys need any help, you're welcome to contact Christian or myself. And just if something is truly your dream, just go crazy and work as hectically hard as you can, because I'm telling you now, coming from other artists, I've watched them grow. I mean, look at Addie. Okay, she's a perfect example. I knew this girl when she was in school. Look where she is today because she's worked extremely hard. If Addie can do it and be as successful as she is, then anybody out there can definitely do it. She's definitely an inspiration.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I want to put you in my pocket and carry you with me for the rest of my life. Thank you, Lauren. No, Lauren, it's I love what you're saying. Just go absolutely mad when it comes to your passion, learn everything. I love that. I live by that. I love it. Thank you so much for coming on this evening and chatting to us about something that you're clearly so passionate about. So thank you so much.
And thank you so much for having me. And it was great to meet you, Matthew.
Yeah, yes. Great meeting you too. Listen, I might take you up on that offer, but we can speak afterwards.
I need
Amazing.
one of those hoodies. So yeah, we
Oh
definitely.
yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely. We can have a trade exchange.
Oh, that's so good. Oh my gosh. Well, last but not least, Mr. Stain. So, do you have any
Sorry, I
pearls
had
of... Sorry.
yeah. Well, the pearl of wisdom I always say is be nice,
Ah,
because
Whoa.
you said that before.
it will
You
get
said that before.
it will
I would
get
agree
you
with
so
you.
far. Just be nice, not just with your fellow artists, but with your fans and with other people in the industry. Just it opens doors. It opens doors. If you're nice, people will like working with you. If you're not nice, people will sort of like, okay, stay away. So
Yeah, so
it's
true.
it's silly and it's nothing to do with law, but just be nice. And then make sure you understand things and make sure you actually take advantage of people like myself and like Loren that offer our expertise to musicians, to the industry, because a lot of musos don't actually take the time to. I don't like the word educate themselves. I mean, Chox is like you have a jazz degree. I don't understand
Yeah.
jazz. If you talk to me about jazz, I'll be like, what? The same with
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
So talk to me about law. I understand
Yeah.
law, and
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
what by educate yourself. It's just
Yeah.
I just know something, and Loren knows something different than you. We've got expertise in certain things. Make use of us, and we're not only people. There's so many people out there that know so many aspects of music, offering it to people. There's no strings attached, I promise you. But most of these people love the music industry, and they love giving back. And make use of it. Make use of what is offered.
Yeah.
That makes
Wow.
sense.
Yeah, I love that. That's so true. I love what you said in the beginning. Be nice, because I remember, Chucks, you came on like months ago, and
Yeah.
you literally said, you like leaned back in your chair, like, be nice. I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
it's so true, because people aren't. And I think because you've got to be so cutthroat as an artist. You have to know so much. You got to be able to stand up for yourself. You have to protect yourself and your art, that you actually just become sick and tired of people's nonsense. And so you just sort of treat everyone with those glasses, those rose-colored glasses.
Yeah.
And I think it's so true. It's actually a comment. I like that. I think not being arrogant can also be added onto that. It's so true. Don't be
Yeah.
arrogant.
Very true.
Yeah, be
I think
open
it's just
to
a
learning something.
fine line of like so let the deal with the legal stuff, and then you can deal with the art thing,
Yeah.
I think that's where you separate things. Otherwise, if you mix all of them together, it becomes very, very toxic, and then the creativeness and everything that you set out to do doesn't end up happening actually.
It's so true. It's so true. And you sort of get caught up in that wheel, and you do lose the love for it, because it just becomes, you
Yeah,
see the ugly side of the industry. And I think a lot of people
exactly.
fall down that rabbit hole where it just all becomes ugly.
Yeah,
So I get that. I get that. So yeah, find people that can help you, and ask for help. I think ask for help. Always ask for help. But this
I
has
like
just
that.
been this has been awesome. Thank you so much, guys, for coming on this evening and being part of the show. We've had some awesome comments and questions, and I think we've got through quite a big chunk of what I wanted to talk about. And obviously, I have to have you all back to carry on this conversation in the near future. But thank you so much for coming on this evening and sharing your love and your passion for your job, essentially. Thank you so much, guys. It's been awesome. This has been really awesome.
Oh wow, thank you, and well done.
Oh,
You are incredible. I still can't get over how great you are when you do these shows.
oh, thanks. Gosh,
Yeah.
thanks. Oh man, this is so
Wait.
much fun. I love doing this.
Ali, you forgot to give us your pearl of wisdom.
Ah, shoot. See, I feel like I'm just like here watching. I'm like a sponge. I'm happy just to like soak it all in. That's my pearl of wisdom. Be a sponge.
That's
Always be a
very good.
sponge. Yeah, always take it in. This is essentially why I do these shows, because I'm just slowly getting a law degree by doing these shows. Not. But yeah, I think my pearl of wisdom is be a sponge, and wherever you can learn something. Like Loren said, just go crazy, go nuts, learn what you can, learn what you absolutely can. And I think there's always a word that I know a lot of people say it's not a dirty word, but I know it is a dirty word in lots of circles. Networking. To network, I love networking. I don't quite enjoy like lots of people. I'd rather be at home watching Netflix with my dog. But like to network and to actually make relationships and have genuine friendships in this industry is so important, and be a sponge around them. So that is my pearl wisdom. Is that good enough, Christian? Good. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you guys. It's been awesome. I will chat to y'all soon. Have a great week ahead, everybody. Have a great week ahead.
Thank you.
Bye. 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 What an amazing show! Like I just said now, I feel like I am becoming a lawyer slowly but surely. And just thank you so much for all the questions and the comments. It's been so awesome just to see you guys interact and be part of the conversation. I love doing these shows. Sunday is definitely the highlight of my week. But y'all been awesome. But for now, stay safe. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. Call your loved ones, and I will see you same time, same place next week. Bye.